How dare you push my son? Naomi yelled, glaring at Onyinyechi. Do you want to kill my son for me? Onyinyechi's eyes filled with tears. Mom, I didn't push him, she said, her voice trembling. It was a mistake, I promise. Who is your mom? Naomi snapped, her voice cold. Don't call me that. Onyinyechi was in a bustling city of Bayelsa. There lived a couple named Alex and Naomi. They had known each other since they were little kids, playing together in the neighborhood and sharing secrets under the mango tree. As they grew older, their friendship blossomed into a deep and beautiful love. It was no surprise to anyone when they got married. Their love story was admired by everyone around them. Alex was tall and strong, with a warm smile that made everyone feel welcome. He had a kind eyes that twinkled with joy whenever he looked at Naomi. Naomi was a gentle and caring woman, with a heart big as the sky. She had a lovely smile and a laugh that could brighten up the darkest day. Together, they made a perfect pair. They lived in a cozy two-bedroom apartment. It wasn't big or fancy, but it was filled with love and warmth. They were not rich, but they had everything they needed to be happy. Alex and Naomi were graduates of Niger State University, where they had studied hard and dreamed of having great jobs. But finding white-collar jobs proved to be difficult. They submitted their CVs to different companies, hoping for a chance, but they never got any calls back. One day, after another disappointing job search, Alex turned to Naomi. Naomi, we can't keep waiting for a job that may never come. I think it's time for us to start our own business. Naomi nodded, her eyes filled with trust and hope. What do you have in mind, Alex? I have a little money saved up. I can start a small business in a bustling market. I know it won't be easy, but we have to try, Alex replied. With Naomi's encouragement and support, Alex started a small business inside the market. Every day, he woke up early and worked hard, hoping to build a better future for them. Naomi helped him whenever she could, standing by his side and cheering him up. Their marriage has lasted for about 5 years, and they were still as in love as ever. But there was one thing missing: a child. Naomi became very worried about their childlessness. She often found herself staring at the empty crib they had prepared, wondering when they would hear the sweet sound of a baby crying in their home. One evening, as they sat together on the couch, Naomi sighed deeply. Alex, it's been 5 years and we still don't have a child. I am so worried. What if something is wrong with us? Alex took her hand and squeezed it gently. Naomi, we have been through so much together. Let's not lose hope now. Maybe we should see a doctor and find out if there is anything we can do. Naomi nodded, her eyes filled with tears. I think you are right, Alex. Let's find out what is going on. The next day, they went to see a doctor. After some tests and examinations, they sat in the doctor's office, holding hands tightly. The doctor smiled warmly at them. Mr. and Mrs. Alex, I have gone through your results. The doctor said, both of you are perfectly healthy. There is no medical reasons why you can't have children. Sometimes it takes time. You need to be patient and wait for God's time. Alex and Naomi looked at each other with a relief and hope. Thank you, doctor, Alex said. We will wait and trust in the God's timing. As they left the hospital, Naomi felt a renewed sense of hope. She knew that no matter what, they would face the future together, hand in hand. With Alex by her side, she believed that anything was possible. They walked home, the evening sun casting a golden glow on their path, and they felt grateful for the love they have shared and the life they were building together. Naomi became very dedicated to God. She prayed at all times, asking for God's blessing. "Please God, bless us with a child," she whispered every morning and night. Alex admired her faith and joined her in prayers, hoping their dreams would come true. A few months later, something extraordinary happened. One sunny morning, Naomi was walking down on a lonely road. On her way back from church, the air was fresh and the birds were singing. But as she passed by a bushy area, she heard a sound that made her stop in her tracks. It was a cry of a baby. Naomi paused for a moment, her heart pounding. What is a baby doing here? She wondered. And why is the baby crying so hard? Curiosity and concern filled her mind. She carefully approached the bush, her heart heavy with worry. As she moved closer, she shouted, "Hello, is anyone here?" But there was no answer, only the continued crying of the baby. Naomi looked around and saw no one. Her eyes fell upon a small bundle hidden among the leaves. She rushed over and found a tiny baby wrapped in a tattered blanket, all alone. Who could leave a baby like this? Naomi whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. What a wicked world. She gently picked up the baby, holding it closer to her chest. The baby's cry quieted as Naomi's warmth and care surrounded it. "Don't worry, little one," she said softly. "I will take care of you." Naomi hurried home, carrying the baby in her arms. When she walked through the door, Alex looked up, his eyes widened in surprise. "Naomi, whose baby are you carrying?" Naomi took a deep breath and told him everything. "I found the baby in the bush on my way coming back from church. There was no one else around. I couldn't just leave the baby there, Alex." Alex listened carefully, his face softened with each word. He reached out and gently touched the baby's tiny hand. "Naomi, this is incredible. Maybe this is God's answers to our prayers." They looked at each other, a sense of joy and wonder filling their hearts. "Let's name her Onyinyechi," Alex said with a smile. "It means God's gift." "Yes," Naomi agreed, tears of happiness in her eyes. "Onyinyechi, our precious gift." From that day on, Naomi and Alex dedicated themselves to caring for Onyinyechi. The baby brought so much joy into their lives. They spent their days feeding, cuddling, and playing with her, cherishing every moment. The house, once filled with quiet, was now alive with the sounds of laughter and baby giggles. As weeks passed, something miraculous happened. One morning, Alex's phone rang. It was from one of the companies where he had submitted his CV. "Mr. Alex, we would like to offer you a job with us." The voice on the other end said, "The position comes with a generous salary, a car, and a duplex." Alex could hardly believe his ears. "Thank you, this is wonderful news," he exclaimed. When he told Naomi, her face lighted up with joy. "Alex, this is so amazing. Onyinyechi truly is a gift from God. Her presence has brought so much light and happiness into our lives." Life for Alex and Naomi changed in the most wonderful ways. Alex thrived into his new job, and they moved into a beautiful duplex provided by the company. The duplex was spacious, with a lovely garden in front, and even had a gate man named Mr. Aloy, who greeted them warmly each morning. Mr. Aloy was an elderly man with a kind smile, and he quickly became fond of Onyinyechi. He often played with her when Alex and Naomi were busy. "She is truly a gift," he would say, smiling at the little girl who brought so much joy to everyone around her. Alex and Naomi felt incredibly blessed and grateful. Every evening, they sat together with Onyinyechi, thanking God for the miracle that had come into their lives. They knew that no matter what challenges that came their way, they would face them together as a family. The light that Onyinyechi brought into their lives was the best gift they could ever have imagined, and they continued to live happily, cherishing every moment. 5 years has passed since the day Naomi and Alex found Onyinyechi, and the little girl had grown into a bright and cheerful child. She had just started attending school, one of the best schools in their area. Every morning, Naomi would drive Onyinyechi to school, and the little girl would chat excitingly about her new friends and the fun game they played during break time. Onyinyechi was a happy child, and seeing her happiness brought even more joy to Naomi and Alex. One day, as Naomi was preparing breakfast in the kitchen, she suddenly felt a wave of dizziness. She grabbed the counter to steady herself and closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, the feelings had passed, but she couldn't help but feel a little worried. Later that day, she felt tired and weak, and she noticed that she wasn't as energetic as usual. When Alex came back from work, he found Naomi resting on the couch. "Are you okay, my dear?" he asked, concern in his voice. Naomi smiled weakly. "I'm fine, Alex. I have just been feeling a bit off today. Maybe I'm coming down with something." Alex sat beside her and took her hand. "You have been feeling tired and dizzy lately. I think it's best if we go see our family doctor tomorrow, just to make sure everything is alright." Naomi nodded, agreeing that it was a good idea. The next day, they visited Dr. Amadi, their family doctor. After asking Naomi a few questions and running some tests, Dr. Amadi smiled warmly at the couple. "Congratulations, Naomi," he said. "You are 2 months pregnant." Naomi's eye widened in surprise, and she looked at Alex, who was grinning from ear to ear. "Pregnant?" she whispered, hardly believing the news. "Yes, pregnant," Dr. Amadi confirmed with a nod. "It seems like Onyinyechi is going to have a younger brother or sister soon." Naomi and Alex hugged each other tightly, their hearts bursting with joy. As they left the doctor's office, Alex couldn't stop smiling. "We are going to have another baby," he said, his voice full of excitement. "I can't believe it." Naomi laughed softly, her heart filled with happiness. "It's a miracle, Alex. I never thought this day would come." As Naomi's pregnancy progressed, Alex became even more protective of her. "You need to take it easy," he told her one evening as they sat on the couch together. "No more heavy lifting or doing hard work around the house. We should hire a housekeeper to help with the chores and look after Onyinyechi." Naomi agreed, knowing that Alex was right. Soon, they hired a kind woman named Cecilia to help around the house. Cecilia was wonderful with Onyinyechi, and she took care of the cooking, cleaning, and other tasks so Naomi could rest and take good care of herself and the baby. 9 months passed, and the day finally arrived when Naomi went into labor. Alex rushed her to the hospital, and after several hours, They welcomed a healthy baby boy into the world. Alex was overjoyed as he held his son for the first time. "He's perfect," Alex whispered, tears of happiness in his eyes. "We will name him after me, but we will call him Junior." Naomi smiled as she looked at their son, who was peacefully sleeping in her arms. "Junior," she repeated softly, "I love you." When they brought Junior home, Onyinyechi was thrilled to meet her little brother. She peeked into the crib and giggled as the baby moved his tiny hands. "He's so small, mommy," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. "Yes, he is," Naomi agreed, smiling at her daughter, "but he will grow just like you." Alex and Naomi were proud parents once again. Their family now complete with the arrival of Junior. Their home was filled with love, laughter, and the joyful cries of their two beautiful children. Few years later, Junior had grown into a smart, intelligent, and respectful young boy. He was full of love and kindness, and everyone admired him. He and Onyinyechi were not just siblings, they were best of friends. They both attended the same school and enjoyed playing together at home. Every day after school, they would sit down with their mother, Naomi, and Junior would excitingly share everything he had learned in class. "Mommy, today our teacher taught us about different types of animals," Junior said one day, his eyes shining with excitement. "Really?" Naomi smiled, sitting beside him on the couch. "What animal did you learn about?" "We learned about lions, elephants, and zebras." "Did you know that zebras have stripes to help them hide in tall grass?" Junior explained, waving his hand animatedly as he spoke. Naomi nodded, impressed. "That's very interesting, Junior. You are learning so fast." On weekends, Alex and Naomi made sure they spent quality time with their children. They would often take them to children's playgrounds, where Junior and Onyinyechi would climb on swings, slide down slides, and play hide and seek with other children. "Look, Daddy, I'm swinging on high," Onyinyechi called out, her voice filled with joy. Alex laughed, clapping his hands. "That's great, Onyinyechi. You are flying like a bird." After the playground, they would sometimes visit other fun places like ice cream shops or zoo. Every outing was filled with laughter, fun, and lots of happy memories. The family loved being together, and these moments made their bond even stronger. At home, Cecilia, the family housekeeper, was busy making sure everything was done properly, on time. She was good at her job, and she had become like a member of the family. Onyinyechi was very close to Cecilia. They would often spend time together, chatting and laughing while Cecilia did her work. One day, while Junior was napping in his room, Onyinyechi walked into the kitchen where Cecilia was washing the dishes. "Auntie Cecilia, can I help you wash the dishes?" Onyinyechi asked eagerly. Cecilia looked down on her and smiled warmly. "Of course, my baby girl. You can dry the plates after I wash them." As they worked together, Onyinyechi became curious about Cecilia's life. "Auntie Cecilia, do you have a family? How many children do you have?" she asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. Cecilia replied softly, "Yes, I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. Their names are Chika, Emeka, and Ada." "Wow, that's nice. I would love to meet them one day," Onyinyechi said. Imagine what Cecilia's children might be like. Before Cecilia could reply, they heard the sound of a front door opening. Onyinyechi quickly handed the dish towel back to Cecilia and ran to the living room. "Mommy, "Daddy!" she called out excitedly, rushing to greet them. Naomi and Alex smiled as they walked in, happy to be home after a long day. Onyinyechi wrapped her arms around her mother, giving her a big hug, and then did the same to her father. "How was your day, my dear?" Alex asked, gently patting Onyinyechi's head. "It was good, Daddy. I helped Auntie Cecilia in the kitchen," she replied proudly. "That's wonderful, Onyinyechi. You are such a good girl," Naomi said, kissing her on her forehead. Alex loved Onyinyechi deeply. Her presence in their life have brought so much joy, good luck, and laughter. He was always thinking of ways to make her happy. Whenever he had the chance, he would bring home beautiful gifts for her, and each time, Onyinyechi would jump up and down with excitement. "Thank you, Daddy. I love you so much," Onyinyechi would say, hugging him tightly. "I love you too, my precious gift," Alex would reply, his heart full of affection for his daughter. Onyinyechi also cared deeply for his younger brother Junior. He would help him with his homework, showing him how to write letters and numbers, and teaching him other important things. "Junior, this is how to write the letter A," Onyinyechi explained patiently one evening as they sat together at the dining table. Junior looked up to her with admiration. "Thank you, Onyinyechi. You are the best big sister ever, and you are the best little brother ever," Onyinyechi replied, smiling as they hugged each other. The two siblings were inseparable, always looking out for each other. Their home was filled with love, laughter, and the warm feelings of family togetherness. Every day, they made new memories, and every night, they went to bed with smiles on their faces, thankful for the happy life they shared. One sunny afternoon, Onyinyechi and Junior were playing happily in the living room. They were laughing and running around, pretending to be super horses. Onyinyechi was always careful with Junior, making sure he was safe as they played. But as they were running, Junior tripped over a small toy car and fell, hitting his head on the floor. Immediately, Junior started crying loudly. The noise brought Naomi rushing into the room. She saw Junior on the floor, holding his head, and her face turned pale with fear. "What happened here?" Naomi shouted, her voice filled with panic. "Mom, I'm sorry," Onyinyechi said quickly, trying to explain. "Junior tripped over a toy car. I didn't push him. It was an accident." But Naomi didn't listen. She rushed and picked Junior up and hugged him tightly. She checked his head for any signs of injury, and when she saw a small bump, her worry turned into anger. "How dare you push my son?" Naomi yelled, glaring at Onyinyechi. "Do you want to kill my son for me?" Onyinyechi's eyes filled with tears. "Mom, I didn't push him," she said, her voice trembling. "It was a mistake, I promise." "Who is your mom?" Naomi snapped, her voice cold. "Don't call me that." Onyinyechi was stunned. She had never seen her mother so angry before, and the words Naomi spoke hurt her deeply. She felt a tight knot in her chest as tears rolled down her cheeks. After that day, everything changed. Naomi's attitude towards Onyinyechi became harsh. She no longer spoke kindly to her or smiled at her. Every little mistake Onyinyechi made was met with scolding and anger. One evening, the family sat down for dinner. Onyinyechi quietly ate her food, trying her best not to do anything that would upset Naomi. But as she reached for her water, her hand slipped, and the spoon she was holding fell loudly onto the floor. Naomi's eyes flashed with irritation. "Can't you be more careful?" she snapped, her voice sharp. "You are always wasting my food and making a mess. Do you think food is cheap? You need to learn how to eat properly." Onyinyechi quickly bent down to pick up the spoon. her heart pounding with fear. She didn't want to look at her mother's angry face. Alex, who had been quietly observing the situation, spoke up, his voice calm but firm. Naomi, take it easy on Onyinyechi. It was just a mistake. She didn't mean to drop the spoon. Naomi sighed. Her expression softened slightly, but the tension in the room was still thick. She didn't say anything more, but it was clear that she was still upset. Alex turned to Onyinyechi and gave her a reassuring smile. It's okay, Onyinyechi. We all make mistakes. Just be careful next time, okay? Onyinyechi nodded, feeling a small wave of relief washed over her. Alex's kindness made her feel better, even though Naomi's harsh words still stung. After dinner, Alex gently patted Onyinyechi on the head. You are a good girl, he said softly. Don't worry about that. Thank you, Dad, Onyinyechi whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. But even with Alex's comforting words, Onyinyechi couldn't shake off the feelings that things weren't the same anymore. Naomi's harsh word was a constant reminder that something had changed, and it made her feel more and more like a stranger in her own home. Another day, Onyinyechi was playing with Junior as usual. They were playing a quiet game of hide and seek, trying not to make a noise. But as Junior giggled loudly, Naomi stormed into the room. Stop making so much noise, Naomi scolded. You are disturbing everyone in the house, including the neighbors. Can't you play quietly for once? Onyinyechi felt her heart sink. She didn't understand why her mother was so upset with her at all times. She used to play with Junior like this before, and Naomi never complained. What had changed? Onyinyechi started to feel very confused and sad. She began to ask herself questions. Have I done something wrong to Mom? Why is she treating me like this? The more Onyinyechi thought about it, the more confused she became. She couldn't understand why her mother's attitude had changed so much. Naomi used to be so loving and kind, but now, every time she looked at Onyinyechi, it was with anger and frustration. As days passed, Onyinyechi started to withdraw. She no longer felt comfortable in her own home. She became quiet and tried to stay out of her mother's way as much as possible. She didn't want to make Naomi angry anymore, so she stopped playing as much, and she even ate less, hoping it would make her mother happy. But nothing she did seems to please Naomi. In fact, Naomi's treatment to Onyinyechi grew worse, especially when Alex wasn't around. Naomi would scold Onyinyechi for the smallest thing, and sometimes she wouldn't even let her eat until late at night. Onyinyechi felt she was walking on the eggshells all the time. She missed the day when her mother would hug her and tell her she loved her. Now, she felt like a stranger in her home, and it breaks her heart.